Hello, welcome to Next 2022. I'm here to discuss about enterprise data integration and how do we do this with Cloud Data Fusion. My name is Chaitanya Paidimukala Chai. I'm head of products in the data analytics group in Google Cloud, and I focus on data integration and helping customers move enterprise data within their on-premises and into Google Cloud. So there are a few things that I wanted to talk about it today, and share what data-driven organizations are thinking. What is our product strategy when it comes to data movement and data ingestion and data integration? Give you a glimpse of Cloud Data Fusion, and then hopefully we'll have some time to actually walk through the product and give you a demo of the product. So let's talk about what are these data-driven organizations thinking. I think if you go back and look at the historical evolution of where we are today is every organization today is forced to make decisions based on the data. They're not only making daily decisions and analysis based on historical data, but looking at the historical data, they're actually predicting their future. How is the customer churn going to be? What is the buyer propensity? How are the revenue going to stack up? Are we going to adjust our forecasting based on the demand, and especially with the supply chain issues, how is this going to affect the business outcomes in an organization? So every organization is data driven, be it any horizontal, any vertical organization like telcos, healthcare, retail. All of these organizations and industries are actually trying to evolve and make decisions on data. So when we talk about data, the first and foremost thing that if you want to get insights into the data, you should have the ability to move and take this data out of the systems that from mission critical systems, move them into analytical systems or systems where you can actually do machine learning and AI and ML on this data. So in order to do that, a lot of these data-driven organizations are looking at three things. First is making sure that these platforms that they choose are unified, well integrated, flexible, and open. What I mean by that is, they should work within the ecosystem that they are in. So if you choose a Google Cloud service, they need to work with other cloud services so that they're actually leveraging everything in a unified fashion. They want to be able to use this platform for a lot of different personas. So be it data analysts, data stewards, business analysts, data engineers. They want to be able to use these platforms across these personas and share wealth of information between these personas. But also they want to move data in different ways. Sometimes data is moving in a batch fashion, but a lot of times there is also this whole influx of real-time moving of data, streaming of data, or moving data based on events. So customers are looking for platforms that can actually perform all these things. And then they are looking for open ecosystems. So one of the challenges that data-driven organizations always look for is, we don't want to be married to one technology, so that it becomes very vendor specific. They want to choose a combination of best of breed technologies and open source technologies to actually build the entire data platform on. The second thing that data-driven organizations are looking at is intelligent platforms. Intelligent platforms that are actually metadata driven, that can obviously not just incorporate AI ML and provide AI ML capabilities in the pipelines itself, but also incorporate AI ML in the way the platform processes the job, scaling or reliable, making sure that the SLAs are measured, and then predictive SLAs, so that if there is something that is going to happen, to actually say and forecast and say that the data pipelines might not meet the SLAs. And then execution is another important thing. As the data grows, customers are looking for optimizing the execution. So how do you auto scale without having to worry about going and manually tuning a lot of these performance buttons and things like that? Customers are looking for platforms that can auto scale based on based on the intelligence that they have learned while running these pipelines. The third pillar is the most important thing for data-driven organizations is data democratization. Data democratization means that giving data and the ability for various stakeholders within the organization to be able to consume the data in a format that they can use it. Now, one of the important pillars of it is the data is always fragmented. It's in cloud, it's in on-premises, it's in other, it might be in other cloud providers. Customers want technologies to enable this kind of hybrid and multi-cloud data movement and data integration. They want to have strict cost and SLA controls, because when you democratize the data, there are a lot of stakeholders coming and using the data, but they also want to be able to ensure that there are chargebacks. They know they have transparency into the cost. They are able to provide the SLAs to their stakeholders, and they want this to be secure and compliant, and so that not everybody is accessing the data. That means that this whole all these three key requirements have to be based on an intelligent, a unified governance with a data fabric. That means that wherever your data is, whether it is in a warehouse or an OLTP system or a cloud store, you need to be able to move the data however you want in a format that your stakeholders can get it in a secure and a governed fashion, and to be able to put security controls on top of it to make sure that there is nobody, no unauthorized access is allowed into the system. And that is exactly where these data-driven organizations are going. Now, I think, if you look at our product strategy around, data movement and data integration is very simple. The first and foremost thing is we want to be able to be open and flexible. We continue to invest in our technologies being open platform, flexible platform, so that customers can choose our platform and run it on, on-premises, multi-cloud, hybrid cloud fashion. And you're always going to have an open source option with our technology. We have built in the intelligence into the platform itself, from when it comes to smarter executions, giving you insights into the operations, and actually having the SLA controls. Everything is already built into the system. And then, enterprise readiness is the core of the platform, is to make sure that customers can actually govern their data better. They can actually meet their regulatory and compliance needs, while ensuring that the lifecycle management of all these data movement and data pipelines is managed within the platform. So we have taken all these things and listened to the organizations, listened to the market, listened to the customers, and identified the strategy. And we built a platform which actually can support all delivery styles. Be it your real time, be it ingestion for data lakes, or you're actually doing streaming, bulk way of loading the data, or even change data capture. We believe that there is a single enterprise data platform, data integration platform that can actually help your needs. And that is precisely what we have done with Cloud Data Fusion. So if you look at Cloud Data Fusion, Cloud Data Fusion, the founding principles of Cloud Data Fusion was, when we thought about the open source technology, and when the original founders who actually started this open source project, when they thought about it, they wanted to build a platform that is agnostic to the underlying implementation, which can scale and which can actually perform well for moving any amount of data effectively with minimal manual intervention. So that's the whole premise of building the Cloud Data Fusion platform. A Cloud Data Fusion platform is based on an open source project called CDAP. It's called CAS Data Application Analytics Platform. And this platform was envisioned, again, as I said, to be platform technology agnostic, to be able to provide the right bells and whistles for anybody to go and build very complex pipelines and scale these pipelines to move data. Now, where does Cloud Data Fusion fit in? Cloud Data Fusion is really, really efficient for providing self-service capabilities to data engineers and ETL developers to be able to move data for either building warehouses, data lakes, or data marts, basically to help customers accelerate the time to insight. So whenever you want to move data very quickly and you want to actually get insights into the data, Cloud Data Fusion provides this way to actually to offer all these capabilities to actually accelerate the whole analytics transformation. The key thing with Data Fusion is, first of all, it caters to two big personas. One is data engineers and ETL developers. And whenever an organization, the data-driven organizations are going through modernizing of their analytics stack through digital transformation, or they want to generate actionable insights or enabling operational intelligence on your operational data, Data Fusion can help you. So when I say modernizing data analytics stack, so a lot of the customers are coming to Google Cloud, leveraging, the best of breed technology for warehousing, which is BigQuery, and trying to modernize their entire analytics stack. They can actually use Data Fusion and, accelerate, building of their data marts and data warehouses on BigQuery. Or if customers are trying to find out, actionable insights, meaning, I want to know what is the targeted marketing campaign that I want to run on my customer data. So I want to bring in my customer data. I also want to get all these other data sets that are available as part of public data sets within Google, combine that information, use our ML models, Vertex AI platform, or the ML, capability within BigQuery, and find insights and push it back to the underlying application so that the business stakeholders can consume and act on that data. That is something that Data Fusion can provide. And then lastly, I think I talked about the change data capture capabilities, which are powered by data stream functionality within Google. And then you can actually build out your operational reporting systems to actually do real-time operational intelligence on the data. So if you go and look at the key features, foundational features with Data Fusion, it can support a lot of these enterprise platforms. We have a lot of different sources. All the sources are available within the product. Doesn't matter, whether you are using a smaller version of or a smaller edition of Data Fusion or an enterprise edition. All the connectors are available. We have complete comprehensive connectivity to SAP stack, Salesforce, ServiceNow, all the applications, all the databases, all the Google first-party sources. Everything is available as a source and a target within Data Fusion. You can visually build pipelines. You can also wrangle, you can prepare the data. You can operationalize the data. You can actually have, build pipelines through in a visual fashion. The system doesn't have an engine, so it automatically does a scalable ETL or ELT-based processing, depending on what kind of transformations you are using, what kind of change, what kind of mechanisms you want to actually massage the data. And it's an open and flexible platform. So when I say open and extensible platform is, if you actually have your own, you want to build your own plugins or connectors, you can actually build your own connectors. You can actually use the API. You can automate the entire life cycle, right from service creation to configuration to generating pipelines and deploying the pipelines, running the pipelines, and tearing down the entire service, within, with automation. So, and then the primary business benefits that you get out of Data Fusion is, one of the challenges that happens in the organization is there is a lot of communication gap between business and IT. The business stakeholders own the data. They want the data to be consumed in a certain format, and they have to talk to the IT. So Data Fusion has done something very unique and revolutionary when it comes to bringing data wrangling and pipelines together, where they have taken, you can actually, you as a person can go and wrangle the data, show it to your business counterparts, generate pipelines, and operationalize the pipelines. Then the second thing that we, it really, from a business benefit standpoint, is total cost of ownership. You can actually reduce your total cost of ownership because everything I talked about is based on a metadata-driven approach. There is a visual environment, the lifecycle management. You can automate the entire lifecycle management, and you don't have to hand code any of this stuff. So everything is built into the platform so that you can actually use these tools to accelerate the building of the pipelines, deploying of the pipelines, management of the pipelines, monitoring of the pipelines. Not just the pipelines, but the entire lifecycle of the service itself can be automated. And that is something very unique to Google Cloud services, especially Data Fusion. And then finally, enhanced governance. All the metadata is actually is collected. You can use catalog actually for the lineage, which is Google Cloud catalog. Not only that, we have a unique way of isolating the design and runtime environments through a concept called namespace. rather than creating folders and and creating permissions on the folders. Now what you can do is, as an organization, you can actually take these take a department or take an organization, create an environment where the design environment and the runtime environment can be isolated, not only to ensure that it is a secure and a governed area, you can control the permissions and roles, but you could also ensure that if there are departmental chargebacks you want to do, that can be enabled within Cloud Data Fusion. So a lot of these business benefits are already there, and it's a native cloud service. So let me take a pause over here. I'll show you a quick product demo, and then I'll walk you through some of the features of the product. Hi, welcome to the demo of Cloud Data Fusion. What I'm going to show you is all the capabilities that I talked about. So if you go to your Google Cloud Pantheon, you can see you'll have a project, and within the project you can create a lot of different types of data fusion services. For development, you can create a developer edition, or you can use an enterprise edition for your enterprise production workloads. If you want to control the users who can access this, and who are the users who are going to access this, you have permissions over here. You can create new users and you can add new users. Not only that, there are predefined IAM roles that you can actually assign to for namespace administration, who can actually run the jobs, who can actually create or design the pipelines, etc. So at a high level, these are your instances, and you can actually automate creation of you can create an instance within the Google Cloud Console, or you can actually automate the creation of instance completely with Terraform. So all of that stuff is supported. So let me actually walk you through the data fusion. How does it look like? So here I'm showing the Wrangler, but once you land into Cloud Data Fusion, what you will see is you have got 6 distinct things that you can do. One is data preparation. The second thing is a studio where you can actually build your data pipelines. We also have capabilities where we have integrated with data stream functionality, where we can actually do change data capture within the same platform. And then you can monitor, manage as an administrator. You can do a few things over there. So let me actually take you through the Wrangler. Now, I talked about business IT collaboration, where it's important that the business and IT are all speaking the same language. With wrangling capability, embedded wrangling capability, this is very unique to Cloud Data Fusion. You can not only look at the data, you can start operating on the data. Here I have actually used a filter transformation to filter basically data from Texas, and so that the business actually can look at customers from Texas only. And then if you want to share this, and you want to operationalize this for a data warehouse use case, what you can do is you can actually take and say, I want to create a pipeline based on this. It's going to be a batch pipeline, and then once the pipeline gets created, you can now send it to any target that you want, whether it's a database or BigQuery or Spanner, SQL. You can actually do anything you want, and then I can actually drop in a BigQuery table, and then I can connect this, and all the Texas data is now going to BigQuery, so that the business can start running reporting on it. This is how we actually improve business IT collaboration. The other thing is important to note is the Cloud Data Fusion already comes with a lot of the connectors. So for example, I talked about connectors, and if you go and look at I'll show you a few of the pipelines that we already have that I've already deployed. We can actually bring in data from Salesforce, Sales Cloud, Marketing Cloud. Not only that, we can even bring in data from SAP. So if I go to my studio, I'll show you some of the connectors that we have. These are all the connectors that we already have from a source standpoint: SAP, Salesforce, ServiceNow, etc. But we have a lot more connectors. So we have a very unique way of dealing with connectivity. We have actually stored all of our connectors in the hub, so anybody can go into this hub. This is almost like a free marketplace that is available. So there is you can download anything you want. You can search for any kind of connector that you want. You can actually add your own connectors if you want to this, to this hub. We also have a very specific place where we keep all of our SAP assets in. So all the SAP connectors, including ODP, OData, everything is available over here. And then, and we also have a lot of parsers that we have worked on with, our documentation AI, with Vertex AI. We have contact center AI, transformations that are available that you can use in this pipeline. The other important thing that I talked about is governance. Now, for governance, we have a concept called namespace. This is a very unique concept. It's not like the folder architecture and everything. Namespace is a complete isolation of what you can do in a design and runtime environment. And what you can do here is I can actually create a namespace called HRMS, and I say only these people are going to look at my financial data from SAP. So I can go literally into that namespace. And once I'm in that namespace, nobody else can access the namespace. Here I can design my pipelines. I can deploy my pipelines. I can actually even have a way to look at, if I go to my namespace, I can even isolate the runtime environment. For example, I don't have to use, I don't want anybody else to use my runtime environment. So I can actually use my runtime environment, and I know what are the compute profiles. Now, this is another unique thing that Data Fusion does is Data Fusion doesn't have a runtime engine. We don't have an execution engine. We believe that Dataproc, which is Spark-based engine, is the best engine. We believe that BigQuery can process data at scale. So we leverage, Dataproc. We can create ephemeral Dataproc clusters, or we can actually run everything on BigQuery. So once we have these world-class processing engines, Data Fusion doesn't need any processing engine. And then, the last thing that I wanted to actually show you is on the namespaces. So everything is over here, and then you can actually view all the namespaces, and you can get into every namespace as a system admin and you have granular controls to who can actually access a namespace, who can run workloads in a namespace. So with that, Data Fusion, again, is a very flexible enterprise environment to build your pipelines. You can actually do data preparation. You can also do, change data capture for operational reporting. And you can manage the entire thing through a visual fashion, or we have APIs available to automate the end-to-end life cycle and deployment of the entire service and the pipelines and the movement of the data. So with that, thanks a lot for your time. I hope you enjoyed the session and learned something new. We hope you can reach out to us on Twitter or LinkedIn and provide your comments. Thank you.